Hello and welcome to another episode of Utopia Restorations. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Will. Today we're finally going to start on my Mustang 1967 dream car build. So what I'm going so today's the day, I guess. She's crusty, so I reckon first I'm going to get the air compressor up and just blow out as much rubbish as I can, because there's a lot about. It does spin freely and there is a carb, so I mean it does come off, but it does exist, so there is some hope here. I don't know, we'll see. My plans for this, I wonder a lot of things about it. It's inline six, which yes, wasn't very cool when they came out. Everyone wants V8s. Actually, it's a 3.3 litre, so it's pretty big. We'll see. I'm just gonna have a fiddle about, see what I can get going, see what happens, and yeah. So things we do know is the engine spins freely. So next thing we're going to check is distributor cap, and then we're going to have a look at the carb and see if we can do anything with that. Admittedly, there isn't a great deal of information about these, and I'm fairly safe to assume, you can tell me we're wrong. On the rail down there, that's the fuel line. As you can see, coming to the fuel pump that's here, and all the way up to what I assume is into the carb. There is a lot of like feeds and returns. So that one from the alternator. There you go. I mean, just give that a check because it is loose. See, this is what I think is interesting with this one. Some stuff looks pretty new. So new down there. The oil looks pretty new in it. The distributor cap's of course not on, but new cabling. So yeah, we'll see. So next place that we're going to be going is to clean out some of the interior. Most of it is clean, but I do have some parts in here, so I just want to check through. And I do have actually a new ignition key, so I'm quite interested in that. Also interested to make some more plans to what I'm actually going to do here. This sounds silly, but I keep making plans to do things like, I don't know, make my own door cards and things like that. And then I come and sit in here and I forget it's got it. Things I do need to do in the plans is sort out the floor pan, because somebody decided to rivet it in rather than weld it, which is interesting. And all these plugs, there's a bit of a theme of not epoxy but fiberglass and sort of things like that being used. As you can see, all the drain plugs have been done with that, which I think is a bit weird. As you can tell, this is at some point a new floor pan, so who knows, eh? The rear seat is out. It's not really been my plan, but my plan is to possibly have some seats. However, when you actually look at it, it's sort of a 2+2 sort of situation. It's not actually quite big. This one's going to be for me to sit. So because it's not actually quite big, I don't know, it may make me revise my plan. This is something I'm very grateful I got, because they are mainly out of stock. So we're going to have a sit in and see what I've got and see what we can look at. So, well, I forget actually. Look, I've got a roof liner. Don't have a fuel tank. I've got some windows, which is pretty good. Got Mustang badge. It could do with a dash top. At least have the wiring for a speedo, or hopefully a rev counter, because we have some plans for that. Yeah, what else do we have? Oh, look, we've got some heating, which is quite nice, I suppose. I wonder if that works, whatever works. There is a park brake. I don't really want to pull that, because I'm not really sure if that's actually going to release. So we'll keep that there. More wires, and some pedals, which... Sorry, some pedals. The accelerator's not connected. The brake is pretty solid, so now that's going to ever do anything. And then what I'm actually going to be looking for, I do have an indicator. Down, not up. And a Mustang horn, which is pretty cool. This all needs re-trimming. But I do sort of actually want to find where the ignition is, because that, with any hope, could let us know if I can start this or not. So I'm going to have a bit of a dig. That could quite possibly be it, but to be honest, I don't actually know a great deal about these. So we'll have a look, we'll have a fiddle, and we'll see what I can find. So here we go, with a bit more light, as you join me on my journey of exploration. Now, there is a lot of stuff about Mustangs, and I'm sure I could look a lot of this up, but I've been trying, and I've got a bit bored forums, really. So, no idea what this is. It looks like it could be something to do with smoking, but I think that should really come out, because if you look at it back here, if you can see in, let's see a wiggle my foot. I don't know what that is, doesn't really seem to do much, so that's coming out. Yeah, a lot of wiring, that's all fun. We've got our brake here, which I'm trying not to pull, and the choke potentially. Accelerator, which is definitely not connected. I'm thinking that one's lights, I'm thinking this one's ignition. So if I'm thinking that, this looks like it's got some variable sort of resistance on it. So you change it, and we've got all our temperatures here, which are actually sort of linked. So, see about that. Don't really plan on using it. So many wires. There's some random button down there. I'm sure you can all scream me in the comments. Anyway, what I'm getting at is I think this is our bad boy for ignition. Looks like it's to do with it something. So I'm going to go get the new barrel that comes with it and see if I can plug that in and see what that does. See if I've got any linkage for the throttle. On the gears here, we do have first, second, and maybe drive neutral. The black one, however, whatever that does nothing. So even if I'm pushing, that doesn't go, so we can't really go up into those. Which then, if we are going to start it, could be fun. Yeah. So I'm going to have a look through my box of goodies again, see what I've got. I don't actually think anything in there is relevant to much that I actually need. Yeah, I got this. Really happy about that. Windows, I don't know, making a plexiglass. Got a rear view mirror, which is nice. Ooh, and I've got visors. Got some trim. See, sorry, I know I've done a walk around video this before, but a lot of this is sort of when you come back to it, it's a bit of a new experience. The throttle linkage, that's absolutely nothing, as I knew. It's alright, really. I've got a few lines. These are brake lines, aren't they? I'm going to get this off in a sec and see if. Well, there you go. Going to get it off. Oh, yes, that's good, isn't it? That'll explain why there's no brakes. Right. I guess we'll be giving that a bit of a clean. Before I do anything to that, get a bit of fluid in there. I'm going to see what happens, see if anything can move or do anything. Also have to check we've got our fluid for the box, which, as expected, not really any. Well, I did a little bit. Fluid for the engine's alright, but if there's no fluid in the box, I guess there's less to worry about, as we were saying, with it turning. So we'll see. It's all a journey. So I was on the right line. This is the bad boy that we need. However, I've got the new keys here. We do actually need the ignition switch. So Chilimoto Speed Shop, I've sorted out with some parts before, do have that. So I'm going to order that and shout it to them. If you do want to sponsor this, we've got quite a build to go. So yeah, Chilimoto seems to be the best in the UK at the moment for getting the parts for me. So I'm going to get some of those ordered and then have a look at that. I may try hotwire it for the moment, see how we can get on. So another not so fun discovery. Well, it's not major, but I knew that there was some sort of mud wasps that had been living in here previously, and when it arrived, there was a wasp in it. They may have been living in the carb too. So you can see down there, brown, 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 brown. Yeah, I mean, I planned on getting a new one, really, but just for the sake of testing it. Yeah, it could be interesting. So yeah, we'll see. I'm going to get that cleaned up in a parts washer and cleaned through, just with a bit of petrol or something, just so anything that's been cleaned through is good. But yes, more fun. Decided I'm going to risk life and limb and attach a battery. So yeah, we're going to see what happens. Try hotwire it and see if I can get any sort of crank out of it. So let's give it a go. I'm going to try hotwire it to give it a crank. I've got these three for the ignition. So you're going to try connect it up. Do that and then come out here. Put the battery on and see if it can crank. And yeah, see what happens. Right, so in theory, some form of hot wiring has happened. So just going to try touch it to the battery and we're going to see what happens, really. Yes, look at that. Nothing. Wonderful. So yeah, on to the next bit. So next we're going to try and do something super duper safe, which is just completely bypass all of this, and we're going straight onto the starter motor. So straight from battery to the solenoid, see if it spins and see if that is working. So it's been a bit sporadic so far. I'm mainly trying to get to know the project and figure out where people have been previously and where they are got to and what went wrong. So where I can move forward from that. So you've been going over a few different things, trying a few things. We need to order some parts this week, which involve the actual ignition itself, so I can use that, possibly a new isolator. What I'm going to do is get the starter motor out, see if I can test that on its own, see if that's working, so then know where we are in terms of what I need to do. Do I need to get that rebuilt, or do I need to get a new one? So yeah, it's quite easy. I could spend maybe £1,000, £2,000 on parts quite straight out the bag, like fuel tank and bits like that. But I'm trying to do it as cost effectively as possible. So this will be my budget Mustang build. So trying to make sure that I'm not spending too much on it and actually fixing what is the issue to get to the next part to figure out where we are. So starter mode is coming off, and we're going to check that that's working. Well, I'll tell you what, in terms of answering questions, I thought this, as these came out, they look pretty new. Just look pretty crusty from the top, but actually, when you get further around, again, I think this is pretty new. It doesn't look particularly chewed, and it seems to be spinning freely. So I'm going to put a charge to it and see what happens and see if it spins. Then that's good, because we're down to this. You can get a new one of these quite easily for around 70 quid, and I will definitely be doing that and getting a new cable to it. Whilst we're here, I'm definitely going to clean up some of that down there, see where it's been sat, and see what the flywheel looks like. So it does run. I'm not really sure why we got the large amounts of sparking, maybe different sort of ampage, but it does work. So that is some good news. So having a look, it doesn't actually look too bad when we turn it over. The only bit that I'm wondering about is why does it have the... Oh, there you go. You can see those bolts there. Scrapes on the starter motor, but I don't see why that would be normal. That should happen. Here you go, another bit. Remanufactured 2012, so it's only a 10-year-old carb. So actually, quite good hope for this one. Just makes me more concerned that there's a new carb, new starter motor, new plugs. Where's it gone wrong? My plan is still very much try to get it running, see what it sounds like, and then possibly, yes, we'll get heads off and things like that and have a look further. I got bored of what I was doing there, and actually decided to bang out that dent. Which, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, you can cry me later. But it's better than it was. A lot better than it was. So the starter motor still works. I think there must be a bad earth somewhere, which is understandable when you look at that. Yeah, so you don't really know why that happened. Starter motor still works. Taking it out for the moment and just going to start cracking with this. Managed to clear out of the inlet. There was some more wasp sort of debris like this. So I'm now going to have to fully check it. Take all this off, take the top off and see what we're dealing with. Maybe vapor blast this as well, just make it look shiny. However, it may not then go with the rest of the engine. So, just got it to this stage, and this is actually fab news. Doesn't look like it's ever actually been used. Maybe once or twice, you can see a bit of on the float, but it doesn't really look like a lot. What I'm going to do is blow some air through here and back through. Back first, then through. See if I can just clear it out and make sure that there is nothing in it. But yeah, really impressed that I've got new carb and I don't really have to worry about that. Just to give you an idea, this is the sort of crap that the wasps have been leaving behind. So you come out of one of the inlets, it's just sort of like clay mess, which is okay when you get it out, but do not want that going in. So all clean and back together for the moment. I'm just going to leave it, I'm not going to vapor blast it. It's got other priorities. Got some door nuts, bolts for the door, because I accidentally used wing ones. So we've got the correct length. These are going to be going on to replace the current ones. I'm also going to have a look through as there's some bolts. I have a feeling there may be some for the carb. So I believe these two go onto this one, and what we're now going to try is a new starter solenoid. So I've got one here, starter switch, which is lovely. One of the last one from the supplier that I've got, and opening it one-handed. Nope, that's the ignition key. So spoilers. Here you go. This is the one that we are after. Beautiful in comparison to the current. And one-handed. Here you go. Here is what a new starter solenoid looks like, as opposed to a used one. So that's going to be quite nice. The plan's to get that on this weekend. What I'm going to do is just rewire these. They've actually got connectors on them in preparation for this going on. So welcome back to ADHD Customs. This may welcome back to me because I've been off of this for a few days. Sorry this video has been a bit sporadic, but that has just been the way that working on it is. And I wanted to show that and not sort of hide any of the bits of working on different things and whatever. Started to get the bumper off the other day, but that's going to have to pause because the plan is at the minute, get the wheel casters on it and get it moved forward so I can get lifted up and I can start on sort of cutting away at the bits that need repairing on the actual chassis rail, so we can then get that sorted and get closer to getting on the road. The plan is today, now that new bits have also arrived, is to try and get it to turn over. I do think that I've done a bit more research. I think it's got the wrong starter motor. I think it's got a starter motor for a V8 and not for a 200. So potentially I do need to get another one. However, I am going to give it a go with this and see if that can happen and see if we can get it started. So now cleared, ready for a bit of space to bring it forward. I only want it sort of like a foot forward more, so I can get a bit of space in there and it's free from the lightweight. I'm going to have to take the bumper off. I started the other day, foolishly. So just going to get that whipped off quickly and then get the casters on it and get it moved. Into, not that, there was, where's the video that I was the replies, oh, the battery's gone, did that to that. Oh, there you go. Now, hey?
Do you want to get on recording?
Yeah, it's recording.
Oh.
There you go.
Let's do a proper crank then.
See, the car didn't move, did it?
Just a little bit.
Jeez. Nice, that's what we did last time. So we did it on the starter motor, it then just went and then didn't do anything. Oh, there you go. So there you have it. Hope you've enjoyed this slightly chaotic video, but we have managed to get it to crank. It sounds pretty good, and this is what I'm struggling to find with this car, is why did somebody stop and why did it get to the point they did? I brought it thinking, I'll be honest, it's an absolute wreck. I thought it needed new bodywork, new chassis, everything. Could improve bodywork, could improve the chassis. Engine's actually seeming okay. I am slightly worried possibly if we're getting towards the gearbox or anything like that. I don't know, maybe a bit more tricky, but it's quite far along than I thought. So as always, if you've enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. We are starting to get there with the Mustang, which hopefully soon should be back on the road. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in next week's video.